try not to laugh while looking at this main event challenge. I mean, it's actually comical that Alex Pereira's third title defense is going to be against Khalil Rountree Jr. Rountree went from having a fight booked up with Jamal Hill, failing a drug test, having to be pulled out of that fight, to then now fighting for the title, coming off a win over Anthony Smith. I mean, to be fair, he's on a 5-fight win streak. You know, I'll give him credit where credit is due. 5-fight win streak. But I mean, 5 wins against who? I mean, this guy beat Dawkins and he beat Smith, and this is how he's getting a title shot against Alex Poatan Pereira. And the crazier thing is, Magomed Ankalaev is fighting literally one pay-per-view after on this same month against Rakic, and not against the champ Alex Pereira. So something fishy is going on here. I thought the UFC was shelving Alex to hold him off for a heavyweight title shot or a third fight with Israel if Israel beats Dricus tomorrow, but that's not the case. Either Alex or the UFC entirely are ducking Ankalaev and protecting Alex Pereira. I mean, a lot of fans are saying, well, no, it's Magomed's fault because he only wants to fight in Abu Dhabi, so that's why. But until there's proof that Magomed Ankalaev declined this fight, until there's proof that Ank was offered UFC 307 and he said no, then I believe fully that the UFC is just straight up blatantly protecting Alex Pereira, because they could have booked this fight on this exact card. And I do actually remember Ankalaev saying that he was willing to fight Alex Pereira in Madison Square Garden. I do remember him saying that. So I do believe that he would have been willing to fight in Salt Lake City. But if not, okay, then it's his own fault. But I mean, this fight, again, it's just comical. It's insane. Like, Khalil Rountree Jr. is showing up as a literal lamb to the slaughter. He's actually going to get murdered by Alex Pereira. This fight won't even make it to the 1 minute mark. I'll be shocked if this fight even goes up to 2 minutes. I'd be shocked if this fight even saw the second round. Like, style-wise, this is Alex Pereira's easiest fight in the light heavyweight division. And I mean, Pereira's been smoking tough, dangerous guys in his last 2 fights. I mean, Yuri Prochazka is one of the most dangerous guys in the light heavyweight division. I still believe Yuri is one of the best light heavyweights in the world. He could be the second best, if not for Alex in the division. Yuri might be the champ right now. And he made it look easy in the rematch against Yuri. Made it look easy against Jamal Hill. And I don't see anyone else doing that to Jamal Hill. Rountree is literally ranked number 8. He's never touched that world title. He's not been proven like Jamal Hill, like Prochazka, or even Jan Blachowicz, who was Alex's toughest fight in the division, who went to a split decision with Alex. Yeah, it's just not a good matchup. It's not going to be a good fight for Khalil. Like, how does Khalil win this fight? He's not as short as I thought he was. He's 6'1", so he's like 3 inches shorter than Alex Pereira, but even still, if he tries to fight him at range, he's just going to get picked apart. And the moment he tries to close the distance against Pereira, he's going to get chinned. He's going to get decapitated. Rountree doesn't have the greatest chin in the world. And he's going to be there for any kill shot that Alex wants to land. The head kick is there. The head kick that he landed on Prochazka is going to be open. A flying knee is going to be open. And that left hook is going to be open. Alex mops the floor with him. Alex by whatever he wants. His third defense. And then hopefully by next year, we see Alex versus the winner of Rakic versus Ankalaev. Hopefully Ankalaev, because I really want to see Ankalaev fight Alex. I think he's got the best chance at beating him at 205. He is a legit threat to Alex Pereira because of his wrestling. But yeah, I don't think Khalil has anything on him. I know Khalil is a good Muay Thai striker, kickboxer, but not on the level of striking of Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira is not going to be another Gohan Saki for Khalil Rountree in this fight. So Alex, easy first round KO in under a minute. Probably it's going to only last 40 seconds. But in other news, Juliana Pena is back, finally getting her title shot. This is her first fight since 2022. She's not competed since, which does kind of worry me because Pena might have ring rust and she's going to turn 35 this month. But Raquel Pennington is literally older than her. They're both going to be 35 by the time it's October. Maybe Raquel's birthday might even be before October and she might even be turning 36. So it's not really like Raquel is going to have a massive youth advantage. Just the only thing that worries me is Raquel has just been more active. And she's been looking good. I mean, she's on a 6-fight win streak. She's got the most significant strikes in bantamweight history, second most wins. So I have to admit Raquel is a good fighter. But this isn't Amanda Nunes we're talking here, so I'm going to be picking Juliana Pena to win this fight. I may be a little bit biased, but I think Pena's good enough to beat her. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Pena's tougher, more scrappy than Raquel Pennington. And I think she'll be able to grit down, walk through the shots of Raquel. Raquel doesn't have the firepower of Amanda Nunes, doesn't have the footwork to deal with the pressure of Juliana Pena. I think her only answer to Pena's pressure is going to be grab her, clinch her, try to hold her against the cage, try to wrestle with Juliana Pena, which will serve to be a mistake because I don't think she can win that kind of fight against Pena. I know she kind of dominated Miesha Tate, but Tate was washed up by that point, one fight removed from that beating from Nunes. I mean, you could argue the same about Pena. She might be just as washed as Miesha was, and she's actually older than Tate was when Tate fought Rocky. But I always kind of thought that Pena was a better fighter than Miesha Tate. She's a grittier, scrappier, stronger version of Miesha Tate, in my opinion. And I think that she'll be able to just go out there, grind Raquel out, probably win this fight. I'm hoping she finishes her, but it'll probably be a decision. But either way, man, I'm rolling with the Venezuelan Vixen and knew she's going to become a 2-time champion. And on the same card, I mean, we got Kayla Harrison taking on Ketlen Vieira. And I guess that fight's going to be the feature fight, just looking at this main card lineup. Kayla's going to win this fight easily, and then she's going to earn herself a title shot, the winner of Raquel and Pena. And we might just be seeing Harrison versus Pena early next year, in which Kayla will beat Juliana, sadly. But I think Juliana can get this done against Raquel Pennington. And then we got Movsar Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling. A good fight, another good fight on this card. Like, this card honestly isn't half bad. I mean, we got Aldo and Evloev, Jose Aldo's taking on Mario Bautista, Kevin Holland's fighting on this card, and we got Stephen Thompson on this card as well. So the card is kind of stacked. It's just the main event isn't the best. Like, this could have a better main event, but it is what it is, and I know the fans don't really care about the co-main or the feature fight. But I think Pennington will be a good fight. I do think it will be a fun scrap. I do think it's going to be one of the best fights on the card when it does play out, because say what you want about Pena, but she's never in a boring fight. She always comes to make it a fight, always comes to make it a brawl. She's always going out there, taking chances, and she's going to force Pennington to fight. And it is going to be a dog fight 100%. But then, yeah, Harrison, Vieira. I don't know if this fight's going to be exciting or not. I mean, I could see a Kayla finish. But Kayla will probably win by decision because Ketlen Vieira is high level on the ground. But then, as far as Evloev Sterling, I'm gonna go with Evloev to win the fight. Not to count out Aljamain Sterling, but Movsar Evloev is a much better opponent than Calvin Kattar. Movsar Evloev is not coming off an injury and 2-year layoff, and Evloev is not a one-dimensional boxer like Calvin Kattar was. He is a high-level wrestler with evolving striking. So I think on the feet, I think he could beat Aljamain Sterling. Well, I think the striking is even. Aljo might be a bit faster coming up from a weight class, coming up from the bantamweight division. Aljo may have a speed advantage, and Aljamain actually is a fast, athletic guy, so he might have a speed and footwork advantage. He does have good kicks, he does have good volume, but I don't know if he goes out there and straight up out wrestles Evloev. He may need to win this fight by defending takedowns and winning on the feet, which he could win on the feet, but could he consistently nullify every takedown of Evloev? That I highly doubt. I do think if anyone is going to have success with their wrestling in this fight, it's going to be Movsar Evloev. I do think he can get his takedowns on Aljamain, and Aljamain is good off his back, but he can be negated on the ground. I mean, he couldn't sub Cejudo from off his back. Peter Yan was able to shut down his submissions, and I think Evloev can do the same. So I do think that Aljo is going to get his rise halted in the featherweight division. I think Evloev's going to get the win and probably earn himself a title shot for early next year. Well, I mean, after Volkanovski, of course. But I mean, if Aljo wins, he's going to be in a position to fight for the belt, so should be interesting. I don't really like Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista just because I feel like there could have been better options for Aldo. I don't get why he's taking this fight because Aldo literally said, like, after he beat that Martinez guy, he said that he is here to make another run for the title. Like, this comeback against Jonathan Martinez was not a one-off, so why is Aldo not getting a top 5 opponent? Aldo should be fighting a top 5 bantamweight on this card. He's taking a risk taking on like an unranked guy in the bantamweight division. Like a fight that makes no sense. I don't think Mario Bautista is even in the rankings. Okay, the rankings doesn't show when I open up the full screen here of this matchup, or when I open up the full stats. But yeah, I don't think Mario Bautista is even ranked. So it's a pointless fight for Jose Aldo. I think Aldo's like number 8 in the rankings. So Aldo should be fighting someone ahead of him. Or if Aldo's going to be going backwards, he should have been going backwards against Dominic Cruz. Where the hell is Dominic Cruz? Why have they not booked Cruz versus Aldo? It's just a dumb fight. But I mean, I do think Aldo should be able to win this fight relatively easily. I think he's better than Bautista on the feet. Mario Bautista's not taking him down. And I think he's going to get pieced up in the stand-up. But I mean, you never know. It's MMA. Anything can happen. And again, it is an unnecessary risk. And even if Aldo wins, he literally has nothing to gain other than a free win. But who knows? Maybe because he's Jose Aldo, they could give him a title shot anyway. But we also got Kevin Holland, Roman Dolidze. Roman could win this because of his grappling. Honestly, Roman Dolidze might actually beat Kevin Holland here because it's at middleweight. And at middleweight, Kevin Holland does not do well against grapplers. He does well against grapplers at 170, not at middleweight, because Kevin Holland, he's a tall guy, but he's got a small, skinny frame, so it's easier for these big 185ers to kind of ragdoll him. But I mean, who knows? I don't want to count out Kevin Holland's chances, but it's probably not the best of matchups for Kevin. He was supposed to fight Daniel Rodriguez, or not Daniel. He was actually supposed to fight who's that guy who was going to fight? Chris Curtis. That would have been a better matchup for him and a more exciting fight. But it is what it is. And then Stephen Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. Another good addition to this card. And it's going to be on the prelims. And the prelims aren't even finished. So I wonder what else they're going to add to the prelims. But again, this card is looking pretty good. I kind of turned this into a bit of a prediction video, but this is not my actual full card prediction video. It's just a card announcement video. So the card is looking good. I like Stephen Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. I think Thompson's going to win this fight. This is a step down in competition from who Wonderboy has been having to fight lately. Like, Wonderboy has been put up against some of the best grapplers in the division, like Shavkat and Burns and Bilal. But when you put a striker in front of him, he does well. When he fought Kevin Holland, destroyed him, and I think he should be able to pick apart Joaquin Buckley. But good fights on here. They could have just done better with the main event, but I get it. They probably didn't want to have Raquel Pennington, Juliana Pena as the headliner, so they called up Poatan, and Poatan is no stranger to saving cards. But he just doesn't have the greatest dance partner in the world. But, I mean, it would be funny if Rountree won. I just don't see it happening. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this card. Like and subscribe, and peace out.